Yo, hello. I'm Alex. This is just a quick guide about hyperburning preparation and making a main with it. To kind of show that I know what I'm doing or know what I'm talking about, this character is my ignition hyperburn, and I made it a main. As you can see, it's a 280. It's on its way to liberation, and I'm soon to be 200 sack to get in like Saren parties and move into Grandis for the late game. So for a 6-month character, it's pretty decent. But I just thought I'd sort of help people that are kind of newish or people that want to get a hyper burning going, is to see what they can do and how to progress a little bit faster. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Starting fresh in Reboot or being a new player can be tough to get the ball rolling. So hyper burning as a main is a great way to get that start that's needed to progress into Grandis and later form content in the game right now. However, even with that start, I'd suggest preparing now to start, hit the ground running when Saviour comes in about a month and a half-ish time. I mean, we can check. Yeah, probably about a month, yeah. I'm going to outline a few of the steps that I made before Ignition started, as a lot of it can be replicated now, just to give yourself a nice head start. So step one, and one of the main sort of pillars of a character's strength, is Legion. Legion's pretty fun to me. A lot of people hate it. Some people really don't like playing like other characters that aren't their main, but I kind of like, just playing other stuff. I've had it fun. But a lot of power can be gained from the grid, little or large. It's all better than nothing. One of the good things about Legion is sort of trying multiple characters. So you can, if you aren't decided on what you want to hyperburn, for example, the classic meme, you can't decide between Dawn Warrior, Buck, Mihai, or Hero. All the quote-unquote meta-strong characters. It can really help you sort of discover what you like and don't like about a lot of those things. Like, you may end up absolutely hating teleport classes like me. I think they're all absolutely awful. Flash Jump, Master Race. I will always love Flash Jump now and forever. But it's great for that. In terms of some key characters to have, I'll post I guess I'll make like a list in the comments down. No, I'll paste a link to the Maple Wiki like Legion thing, so you can see all of the good ones. And link skills as well is another big thing that can come from these Legion characters. Some of the good link skills to start with actually are going to be Evan, Aaron, wherever she is. There you go, and Mercedes. They're like your EXP booster links. They're really going to help you sort of start. So double EX, well, rune bonus from Evan. There's the Mercedes one for 20% EXP at 210. And then the Aaron one. The Aaron orb really good for sort of low level Legion. It can really help. Some extra ones I'd recommend is going to be Phantom. Phantom for crit rate. The Explorer Bowmans for crit rate. Crit rate's really hard to get, sort of at the start. You have a lot of low crit rate. And crit damage is also really good. Canna for some flat damage. Lara for some damage. It's also stacks, especially when you're mobbing. This one's really good. The Pirate Link can help sort of grinding those low level legions. The Arc one is really good. And then basically all the Explorer ones. And the Demons as well, and Kadena. Ilium. Kane. I don't know, the Kane one I don't really know. I've never really used it, I'll be honest. I just kind of have it. Yeah. If you want to sort of optimize your Legion a little bit more, you can look at the Legion bonuses that each character gives. For example, my Dawn Warrior gives HP, which is absolutely useless unless you play a Demon Avenger. Which, I don't know. I don't think it's fun. But crit rate, again, is really good. So you've got Night Lord and Marksman will give you crit rate. And then crit damage is the other one you want to look for. Which is going to be from Shade, and it's going to be from Hayato. I would mention Jet here, but they have deleted the class, and you can no longer make one. So unless you have a Jet already made, just completely ignore that. Other things like boss damage, IED, and then the main stat and the secondary stat of your future main. So for me, all of the strength bonus characters, I made a lot of those. I made every single one of them, and then all of the dex ones as well, because they sort of stack. But I made like a list. Again, I'll link the Maple Wiki website in the comments, and you can have a look at that just to sort of go through and see what you want. But I made a list of all the ones that were relevant for my character, and then I just went through those one by one, just to sort of keep it organized, and so I knew what I was doing. On the line of Legion, leads us to the second step, boss mules. You can see a couple of mine here, and also sort of just Meso generation as a whole, I guess. Because I remember starting off about 7 months ago, 6 months ago ish. Meso at the start was absolutely horrible. I couldn't afford any cubes, I couldn't afford anything. I literally just had to grind out like these low level areas and do like daily bosses just to scrape together as much as I could. So what I would suggest, and I did this sort of towards the sort of end of my preparation, was make a sort of temporary main. And I used my Night Lord for this. To sort of help generate some Meso by doing daily bosses, by doing just sort of anything I could. I did pre-quests, I did everything, just sort of get it out of the way so I could do my main as much as I could as soon as it came out. Things like Arcarium, Chaos Horntail, Zakum. I would basically do every single daily boss I could on her just to make as much Meso, and I'd sell all the crystals every day. I generated about 100 mil per day. And from day of recording, about 3 weeks away from Savio, maybe 4-ish, you'll get around 2 to 3 bill if you do that every single day of just selling the crystals. Along with that, there is Maple Tor. If we go quick move to the portal, down at the bottom, we've got Maple Tor. Maple Tor is the sort of thing you can do daily. If you don't want to spend any money, you can do it 2 times a day. And that will generate around 350 mil per week. It's a 7-day cycle. And if you spend NX to buy the tickets, you can get about 1 bill per week, which can make a massive difference in your progression. It might sound like not a lot to like experienced account people or people that are set up, but when you're in that new position, like as little as it sounds, like even every extra 100 mil can really make a massive difference to your account. But if you are free to play, don't spend money. You can always get the Meso later. Yeah, don't worry about it. Following that, it leads us to our third step, which is, after you've done some Legion, you've played the game a bit, you kind of got a little bit of experience under your belt. You want to decide whether you want to make your Hyperburn now, or if you want to make it when the event starts. For me, back when Ignition was coming out, I created mine when Ignition started, because we had a reward track for a new Cygnus character and for a new Hyperburning character. So I got both rewards from one character. However, this time, the new character, which is like this sort of big event, Kali, I don't know how to pronounce it. It cannot be hyperburned. It can only be terror burned, which stops at level 200, and it has a reward track up to 230. But it's completely separate to the hyperburning rewards. So you'll only gain 1 reward track on your hyperburn. In this Saviour hyperburn, to my knowledge, if you are over a level threshold for a reward, you will not gain the previous rewards. For example, again, I'll show my Legion. If I hyperburned my Bowmaster here, she's level 220, I would lose all of the rewards from 220 and below. So I'd lose the title with EXP, I'd lose the level 5 symbols of Vanishing Journey and Choo Choo. You'd lose the Kra set at 150. You'd lose the, I think there's a Dominator pendant, or a Abso weapon that you can pick. But you don't get that. In the previous Hyperburn, you did get them, but now you don't. So keep that in mind. I'll link the Orange Mushroom blog post from the KMS notes about the hyperburning and about this in the comment below, just so you can see that as well. I guess the advantage of making a character now is you can already start to gear it with like Absolab or Kra. If you have a gear, you could like if you have a guild, like maybe they could give you some trades or some carries. It kind of sort of depends for each individual person, I guess. For me, with my Night Lord, I was able to sort of trade daily bosses, but I didn't make, as I said, I didn't make my Hyperburn until after the event. If you do make it now, you could also start on like Vanishing Journey dailies or Choo Choo if you push it that far. And you could also use the Momentary shop, which has a lot of goodies in it. Like these rings are crazy good for new characters. Chaos ring, like these stats are of like a 17-star ring. I have a few of them. Admittedly, I use them as drop gear. But these are really good rings. So if you want to sort of get a head start on your hyperburning, get it to like 202, start coin capping, doing dailies, and getting as many of these rings as you can. Just 4 preferably, just to give yourself that sort of head start. You can also get flames, scrolls, cubes. You can buy river nodes droplets for, Arcane Umbra gears eventually. Trait potion for a pocket slot. It's a big one. Yeah, even node stones can help. Node stones are so hard to get when you start. And symbols. There's so much in these shops that are so good that you can use. If you don't want to, don't worry, because Savio will have a shop like this as well that you can use. So don't stress too much. I guess the downside, again, as I mentioned, is you lose the rewards. And again, that post is in the comments. Just so you can see, the main point from me from that would be the title that gives you EXP %. Just because I grind all the time, right? And 10% EXP is... It might not sound like a lot, but over the course of like a few hours, that'll stack up. And the symbols don't really matter too much that you'd lose. They're only level 5. You can make that even with the event shop. But nodes are a big thing. Like nodes, I remember nodes being so hard until I could like farm at like 240 plus with drop gear. And this brings us to our final step, which is, it's a controversial one, so get ready. It's have fun. It's a game at the end of the day. And you shouldn't be worried or stressed about it, There's always another event, there's always another burning, there's always another event shop with good items. So don't stress. If it's a bit too much, don't do it. If Legion isn't fun for you, just don't do Legion, lol. If you don't like doing bosses, I don't know, weekly, if you can feel the burnout, just stop. It's all about enjoying yourself at the end of the day. That's the main part. And for me, that's why I play Maple. I enjoy it. If I don't enjoy it, I wouldn't bloody play it. A degenerate grinding gambler. Oh my god. But one tip I'll give is to use a tracker or like a checklist. This is going to sound really try-hard. But to me, it helps me sort of like keep focused and keep my mind on like what I want to do. I'll link the tracker that I use in that same comment below. I also had a notepad, like I mentioned, of all the 42 characters I wanted in my Legion. I had what bonuses they gave. I can't look at my Legion here, bruh. But I had a list of like all the bonuses they gave, which ones I wanted to do next. And I did when I started it, I did 140 a day, all the way until 6k Legion. Sometimes I did 2, sometimes I did 3 if it was like a weekend. But it's once you get like all the strength and the ball rolling, it only gets easier. And once I had all 140s, I then started pushing 200s, and that's when I made my my Night Lord, wherever she is. There she is. But don't stress. Just do what's comfortable to you, because it is a game at the end of the day. If you want to min max, go for it. Go balls to the walls. But take your time and don't worry about it. With the hyperburning, just as a concept. If you don't like grinding at all, you can go all the way to 250. At least you could in the ignition one. I don't know how long this one lasts. But you can go all the way to 250 by not grinding at all, just doing dailies, and then some event things. I think the Wongstron restaurant from the Saviour has like a mini game EXP that will give quite a lot more. Similar to the wardrobe in Momentary. But I think it's slightly better. There's like an event where you can do it 7 times a day, and it's absolutely crazy. Pops off EXP. But you know, that's kind of it. I'm just rambling now. But if you have any questions, you know, or you just want to ask about like my experience of hyperburning as a main, I know this sounds kind of like I'm like blowing my own horn a bit, but I don't mean to. I'm just trying to sort of like help anyone that may or may not be in the situation that I was in. Because I kind of found it hard to sort of transition into that. So, you know, if you do want to ask, just hit me up in the comments. You know, if I'll see it, I'll reply. But do check out that pinned comment that will have all of the resources that I've mentioned. And yeah, that's about it. You know, cheers. And thank you for listening / watching. I don't know, all I've done is like jump around a bit. Thank you very much.